Hey, everybody. It's JP Alexander for Mental Minutia, episode 7. It's been, a little while since my last episode. Maybe a few weeks. Since last year, at least, It's 2026 now, so this is my first video, podcast, what have you, of 2026. So, it's Sunday, January 12th, 2026. Here, let me make sure. Is it the 12th or the 13th? No, the 11th. No, it's the 11th. Sorry. Sunday, January 11th, 2026. Okay. Today, I'm going to talk about something that's been on my mind for a while. Well, at least the last couple of days or so. It seems the news now, things are starting to change a little bit when it comes to the president and what's been going on. One, I think people are feeling a little different about what's going on, like in the sense that the Democrats wanted to get this person out of power in Venezuela. Okay. Joe Biden offered money on the bounty of that guy, and they were talking about getting him, and they wanted to get him for a while. They never did, but they were talking about it. Trump actually went in there and got him. Okay. And got him out and didn't cost us any military lives. And the people of Venezuela are happy, and a lot of them are dancing in the streets, praising Trump. And the woman who just won the Nobel Peace Prize is from Venezuela. She's even praising Trump now. Good. Okay. I think a lot of people should, acknowledge it. Even if you don't like Trump, at least say, yeah, I guess that's a positive sign. But a lot of people now are not even willing to do that, and they keep saying things. Oh, well, he did it the wrong way. He needed congressional approval. No, he did not. Like Obama did not need it, and Biden did not need it when they did similar interventions overseas or what have you. Maybe to fund a war, you're going to need that, yes, but not for what he did. But so it seems to me people are just trying to grab something to hold on to say, aha, look, he did wrong. It doesn't seem to me that anybody wants to really just say, it was a good move. For instance, my brother-in-law hates Trump. He has TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, which is, it's not that everybody who doesn't like Trump has this. No. This is the people who will never admit Trump has done anything good. Never. He could find a cure for cancer, and they'll bring up how he has taken jobs away from a lot of people because there was a lot of people working, tirelessly for years trying to find a cure for cancer, and him doing it has taken away their livelihoods. So, that would be, what a lot of people would say. They seem to want to bring the negative into a positive, or even invent a negative or a possible negative that might arise up in the future against a positive. I heard CNN, which is, just a shill for the left as far as I'm concerned, interviewing people in Trump's administration about this who are happy about it, and then they're bringing up things like, well, there's still some individuals who are still out there. Okay. Why don't you just try to give away a whole strategy of getting them? It's like, okay, well, we'll deal with that later. But as of right now, we got this guy. No, 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 no. We got to grab something else and bring up that. Okay, well, if you take care of that, and you said don't worry about that, and we'll do it, even if you get them, let's say, very, quickly, they're still going to bring up something else. And they bring up something like, oh, well, Trump wants to get their oil. Has he sold their oil and put it in his own pocket yet? I mean, or does he want to control the oil so other countries don't control the oil? You really got to look at things down the line, But a lot of people are not. They're just grabbing anything that's a negative and bringing it into the light. I could see them panicking and saying, "Oh my God, we have to find something negative about this." Okay, well, bring up this. Even though, if Biden would have done this, we would not be bringing up any of this. So let's bring up all this stuff and just keep throwing it out there, so people could just see the negative, and instead of seeing any positive in this, we have to keep selling the negative. And I think a lot of people are realizing this, and the people who don't have TDS are a lot more, a lot easier to, let's say, they'd be a lot easier to admit when Trump has done something well, and okay, but there's some people who will never, and that's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to be in a country now where some people are that, deranged, I guess you could say. I've never heard of Biden deranged syndrome, or Obama deranged syndrome, or Clinton deranged syndrome. Not like Trump derangement syndrome. And, I can understand people not liking the man. I understand that. He has a big mouth. He spews a lot of bullshit. He says bad things about everybody, really. I don't care if it's a man or woman. He treats everybody equally when it comes to that. But really, it doesn't matter to me, really, as much as some other things do. I'd rather actually somebody tell me that than play this kind of, what is it called? Passive aggressiveness. When they tell me something nice, and it's not nice, but they tell it to me in a nice way. I don't like that. I'd rather you just keep it like it is. I respect people who, if they don't like me, they let me know it right away, other than people who are just bullshitting me. Don't bullshit me. That's an insult to me. Tell me the truth. Just put it out as it is. John, JP, I don't like you. I could understand that. I know where I'm standing, And so Trump at least tells people where he's standing. And you're fake news next, And they always try to talk over. It's just funny how the media has gotten to the point they're at now. They think they got so much power, and I guess they do. If the media is all on one side, or on one side more than the other side, that's not a good thing. Remember, we used to have the media in the old days. Walter Cronkite was friends with JFK. He was on a boat with JFK. Okay, he knew JFK's family, everything. But you didn't really know it watching him every night give the news, because it was the news. It's not me or my belief on the news. It's just, here's what's going on. But now they got to fill 24 hours, 7 days a week with news. So they're just going to draw out everything. Opinion, a lot of opinion. And this means a lot of speculation. Like, they want to go here, so they put the building blocks to go here. Even if one of the building blocks doesn't happen, they still put it out there. Here's where, it's going to be. Trump is going to sell oil and he's going to put it in oil, and he's going to become even richer. He's going to become as rich as Elon Musk because he's going to sell all this oil to everybody else around the world. Let's wait and see. Okay? And let's see if it goes into his account. I don't know. And we're seeing things happen now that makes Tim Walsh look like a complete idiot. Look like he's been on a tape for a while. Oh, that's shocking. That's shocking. Maybe he just should have went away and kept his mouth shut. My opinion on all of this is that I don't, I'm trying not to love Trump because, he does, have all this stuff. But it's impossible for me to hate the guys as much as some of these people do because he has done some good and he has looked at some good and even putting a flashlight on some issues is a good thing, It's a good thing. How much have people taken, and put back into their accounts, kickbacks, so to speak? How many people have done that in the, and something like USAID, that doesn't exist anymore. Did it need to? I mean, was it doing, the money it saves, is that really worth the corruption involved in it, A lot of it was just, I believe, a money-making scheme to give. I mean, it helped some people, yes, but it also helped a lot of corrupt politicians pocket a lot of money. Do you imagine if you keep making, agencies and keep creating new agencies that, are under the guise of doing something well, something good, something we need. And then after a while, you realize it does very little good. And, maybe a lot of the money has been going to inside people's bank accounts, That's what it seems to me. It always seems like when we raise taxes, is taxes being raised to really do something good? Because the taxes the government's making so far isn't enough. That it needs to be increased because it's not enough. We can't do our jobs. Do you believe that? I don't know, What I've seen recently myself, I'm just going off on a tangent here. I'm probably not sticking with the original storyline of this podcast, but my daughter is taking driver's ed in school. Okay. Well, it's through the school. It's not at school. And it costs me like $800 to, for this. And I think she has to take it. Well, maybe she doesn't have to, but I think it's recommended. I don't know, but to get her license at a certain time, like when she's 17 instead of having to wait till she's 18. So anyway, $800. Now, am I wrong? But when I was younger, wasn't it included with school? It just, it wasn't, you didn't have to pay money for it. It was included in our taxes that go to school, and we were paying for school through our taxes, so they, had that as a class. Isn't it true? I don't know. I don't think I'm wrong. I didn't actually take it myself because I don't think I really had to. So, and I still got my license when I was 17. So, have they changed it where you have to take it to get your license at 17 now? And you have to pay $800? I don't know. And I'm thinking, was just something that school did pay for? It was part of school. And then somebody said, hey, wait, why don't we make that, we outsource that, okay? And we fire people who have to do that, and so we don't have to pay them anymore, and we'll just take that whole program of buying cars or whatever, and we'll outsource it, and we'll tell people, if you want your kid to have this, you got to pay for it. But you got to do it so you can get a license at 17. So I don't know. And that would be $800 per student in their pocket, plus, all this other money. Now, that probably doesn't, if you went through that company directly, would they charge you $800? Because believe me, that company's making money, obviously. And the school's making money. Doing what? Telling you, hey, you got to go over here. You got to go in back of an office building and take the cars that are in the parking lot and drive them or whatever and go in the building to classroom instead of for the classroom aspect of it. And you got to do that for 3 hours twice a week for a few months. Okay, that's your $800. But where's the $800 going? Where's the money that used to go to that? Where's that going to now? Plus that money, plus the $800. Who's getting that now? Somebody who wasn't getting it before who are getting it now. Why did that happen? And some things are like volunteer. Why? Like when I was living in Florida and Virginia, I remember firemen, they weren't volunteer. I don't believe. They were just firemen. Oh, I'm a fireman. I get paid by the county or whatever to be a fireman here. Yeah, good. And that's what your taxes go to. Here, I'm not saying there's no real firemen, but a lot of people here, a lot of Long Island are volunteer. And it's like, where's that money going? The money that would go to pay firemen, where's that money going? I'm talking New York here, ladies and gentlemen. Long Island has a lot of money in taxes. Crazy money. This house here, this is a condo. It's a 2-bedroom condo. And I had a 2-bedroom condo in Boca Raton, Florida. That's about the same size as this, maybe a little smaller. But I had a 2-car garage, and this has got a 1-car garage. This has got 2 full baths. No, that had 2 full baths. This has only got, this has 2 full baths also. It's got 2.5 baths. That only had 2 full baths. Let's say, compatibly speaking, they're the same size and the same amenities and such. Well, there you actually had a pool and a hot tub. Here, there's no pools, no hot tub. There's a tennis court that nobody really plays on it because most of the people around here are too old. And, so, okay. But the taxes there in Boca Raton were like $4,100, $4,200 a year. Here they're over $10,000 a year. I mean, more than twice as much. It's just, is it worth it? No, hell no. So, is that money only going to pay for things that cost a hell of a lot less there? Is the money discrepancy really worth it? Does it make sense? Probably not. And my belief of this is that people are pocketing money. I think that a lot of New York government is run like the mafia. Maybe that's just me thinking, but why can't somebody find that out and say, hey, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to lower everybody's taxes because I'm going to stop the kickbacks. I'm going to stop politicians making so much money off of this job. They're civil servants. Hey, I worked for the Foreign Service for 26 years. I'm happy with the money I made, but I didn't make a lot of money. I got to the point after, 20 years or so that I was making a 6-figure salary. Okay, but under $200,000. A year. Let's say 140 maximum. What is it? I mean, I've hit I think the biggest I made one year was 161, maybe. That hit that, at the end of my 26 years or 25 years. I'm on that point. But what I'm saying is it's good money. It ain't bad. I mean, I like it, especially if you live overseas free and, you live in some apartment that the embassy's paying for. Then it's good. Then you're not paying electricity or power or anything, and you're getting to live in a place free. So, yeah, you can pocket money. But you're not going to get rich on it, Maybe you invest well, you will, but not just, taking the money, outright, especially if you live in a place like New York or even Washington, D.C. area. I mean, these places are a lot of money in Texas, so, you're not going to see, that money's not going to go that far. So what I'm saying is that I am a citizen. I am the real deal when it comes to that. I didn't get into this to make money. Hell no. I could have stayed in the private sector IT field and made a lot more money, But I didn't. I went there because I believe in what we're doing overseas, and I also got to live a very exciting life that you can't put a price tag on. I think a lot of that I experienced in all these foreign countries I lived in and all the people I met and everything, you can't put a price tag on that. At the end of my life, I'm not going to be able to take all this money with me. But I have stories that I could tell people now or when I'm older. And, I have those experiences in my head, and to me, that's worth more than, money. But maybe I'm a weirdo when it comes to that, okay? But my point is, at least people are getting involved in, higher positions of power in the government to make money. And a lot of them are. And I really wish it wasn't like that. I really wish we could undo a lot of that, because I think we're at a point now where it's broken and we've been taking advantage of that. And it's almost like, and that Trump, maybe Trump is a detriment to that whole thing. Maybe him in power is affecting that to the point where these people are not making the money they, used to make. Or maybe they're, feeling they might get found out by Trump or investigated or something. Maybe that's what Doge was doing. Looking at, some agencies and saying, this agency is completely irrelevant. You could get rid of it. This agency is giving money to this. We don't need that agency to give all that money for all this stuff. Let's keep the money for ourselves. Not for anybody to, we can give this money for kickbacks, How about we take a lot of the money that we're thrown away and we give it, back to the people? I know that would be great. I'm not saying Trump has done that. I don't believe he has, or maybe put it back into the government. I don't know, but I'm thinking maybe a lot of this stuff about Trump, when if you look back at Trump 20 years ago, he was on The View, and these women were giving him a kiss on The View, and they were saying, you should run for president. I remember Barbara Walters saying to him, well, you want to run for higher office, you want to run for some political office. Well, you think maybe you should? And, he was being talked about that in the late 80s, and a lot of people were like, yeah, do it, Donald, and now all of a sudden he does it, and he's the most racist, he's Hitler. I don't see it. I don't see how he could go from having his own television show, making NBC money, and being fair is what I've seen he is. He's had The Apprentice, and women have won it, men have won it. I think maybe an African American. I didn't see him being racist towards anybody on that show, but maybe all of a sudden he turned racist overnight. I don't know. But I doubt it. So maybe you got to ask yourself, why are so many people against him, and people higher up and people in the media? Why are they against him? Because he's right? He's not even that right wing, really. Maybe because he threatens something. Somebody said to me, if you fuck with someone's livelihood, shit's gonna happen. And yeah. Maybe this shit is happening. Maybe this is. Now, I think if you think Trump is a huge problem, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Trump can't be a huge problem. Okay, somebody can't come out like Trump, who's not even in Washington. Like popular people in Washington, come out of nowhere, out of New York. He's in his background as they say game show host. No, he made his money off of real estate. Okay, and also hanging out and just love the camera around him, and all the things he used to do. I've known him in New York for like over 40 years. Known about him. He was a fixture in New York. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but the character of Mr. Big in Sex and the City was based on him. A lot. No, they're going to tell you it wasn't, but I heard he was back when the show started. So yeah, he was a fixture here. So I don't see how he all of a sudden became evil, and they say he's a con man. I don't know. I don't know if his big a casino in Atlantic City. I go in there. It's got blackjack tables. I pay. Either I win or lose. It's got a hotel upstairs, like a room upstairs, and I sleep in the room. I don't know how he's conning me out of anything. I mean, that's really pretty much what the Trump hotel is supposed to be, a casino and a hotel. And guess what? That's exactly what it was. He's not conning me into anything. I don't know what, and that's what I wanted him for. That I went to go stay and meet a friend of mine in Atlantic City, and we're like, oh, what hotel? Let's get the Trump. It's we found a deal or something like that. So I even parked in a parking garage. They had a parking garage, so you could park. That doesn't sound like it's a con to me. At least if it was a con, they wouldn't have a parking lot. You would have to park somewhere else and pay for it. So maybe if you have the parking lot for people staying at the hotel, seems pretty good to me. So what I'm saying is everything I wanted from Trump at that point, he provided. That's why I went there. And they even had hookers in there. I'm not saying I indulged in it or anything. I'm just saying there were hookers working the casino floor. So basically everything you want from a casino is there, and it's got Trump's name on it. So he's not counting me in that. How easily we can call people con men, like AOC us calling Elon Musk a con man. What is he conning? What is he taking money from me? His cars are a little overpriced. I'll give you that. But a few years ago, he was like everybody's favorite person. He's the smartest man in the world, and blah 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 blah. And electric. We're all gonna have electric cars, and it's gonna be great. And then suddenly, he became friendly with Trump, and started to he got hired by Trump to do Doge, and all of a sudden everybody hates him, and they're taking his cars, and this man is, why did I buy this car? It's as good as any electric car, I think, right? But it's still doing relatively well, not as well as it once did, I think, but he's doing SpaceX, but he's doing other things. He's not just sitting on his money. How is he a con man? He lives like a modest life. He puts a lot of money he's making back into the company to come up with we're coming up with new technologies all the time because of him, because of his company. How is that a con? He's conning us out of money, and he's going to laugh all the way to the bank. I don't see, he's providing something, isn't he? I mean, we're not talking about John DeLorean here, who promised us, a 12-cylinder supercar, gave us a 6-cylinder with like 125 horsepower. Couldn't get him his own way. It's a piece of shit, more or less. And he was funding his coke habit, I guess. But yeah, a lot of what he was doing was a con. Yeah, I guess he had good intentions in the beginning. Maybe, I don't know. And he did make a car. Tesla is way more advanced than that car. Way more popular than that car. Way better than that car. Plus, he's also got other things, SpaceX, and he has that other thing. I forget what it's called. But anyway, he's got a bunch of things. And I know he's got X, always got X, which, used to be Twitter. Well, it's X. And he wants free speech on there. What's wrong with that? Hey, I want people just to be free to say what they want. Isn't it funny how all of a sudden, well, no, if it's hate speech, it's not free speech. Okay, well, who decides what's hate speech? You? I don't know. Who are we going to have? The government have a task force to come up with. Then the government controls what free speech is. I don't really want that. And then they say, well, it's misinformation. Says who? You? I mean, again, the coronavirus came from the coronavirus lab. If you would have said that in the beginning, forget about it. They would have said misinformation. He's a danger. He's danger. He shouldn't be allowed to say that. Now we pretty much know that's true, even though a lot of people I never admitted it and went away from it. Obviously, it's true. But, we just say, oh, forget about it. I was saying that in the beginning. I was saying, wait a minute. It seems a little bit, from the day I found out that there was a coronavirus lab in Wuhan, China, and that's where it started. Oh, it started at a wet market. Just maybe the same wet market that a lot of people who work at the Wuhan lab go for lunch. It started there. Just a coincidence out of the whole planet Earth of 7 billion people. It started in that city, in that area, by where the lab was. Just coincidental. Had nothing to do with the lab at all. And then we find out that Fauci is involved in it somehow. So, of course, he wants to cover his ass. Is he going to lie to you? Of course he is. So, you can't even trust a doctor because he's involved in it. He's up to his ass in this. So, of course, he's going to lie and then Biden pardons him. Why does Biden have to pardon him? Because he did something wrong. And in the future, like maybe, in the future from now, people might find out, oh my God, I can't believe he did all this and he lied to us for that long. Well, guess what? You can't do anything against him because he was pardoned by Biden before he left office. Okay. Makes you think, makes you think. But anyway, I guess enough of me just going on and on and on that I have been for the last 33 minutes. I like this podcast, just kind of freewheeling. You start out with one subject and you'll branch off to other things. So that was just me giving you my view. And what does my view matter? It doesn't. If you don't take it, I don't care. Fine with me. I just want you to listen to a 60-year-old who has lived around the world, who had a wife, not anymore, who has a kid, a daughter, just a regular dude now, retired. Recently signed up for some volunteer work. I want to give. I don't want to work anywhere and make money. I want to just give some of my time back to people, and if I don't, if I'm too tired to work or whatever, I just won't go. But if I have some time and I'm up for it, I'll go help out, that to me is good. I want to help some people who need it. That's great. I have it. I have it for my family. I have a great family who will do anything for me, which is great. A lot of others out there don't, and it's sad, and they need some help. So I'm up for giving them that. So, yeah, that's who I am. And if you don't want to listen to me, I think I have more credentials than some rich limousine liberal, but maybe I'm more. Anyway, this has been JP Alexander for Mental Minutia, and until the next time, be good to yourselves. Don't beat each other up. Just, if you disagree, good. Agree to disagree. And, we're all out here into the same shit, okay? What you're experiencing is what others are experiencing. Just remember that. Okay. Until next time, bye.